Mr. Fralinger, Mike,
Yes.
I put these items on under engineer's report because I wasn't for sure how to handle it at the time. So I don't want you to think that I'm trying to change a report or do anything. It's just that this information came in and you spoke on the change order letter. And I just wanted council and you to be aware that we got it. Obviously, I assumed that it was the fact that it went to you also. The South Jersey gas line, there was a packet there, and on number 5 under correspondence is PS and S Engineers of Cherry Hill was letting us know about that and to keep us in the loop. I'm not for sure if we need to sign off or something on that, to say it was okay. And then there's a packet of information on the campground treatment approval. So these are not just several sheets of paper, it's like a packet of information. So in the future, I'll reach out to you, but I wanted to bring it to council's attention because it came to the city. So they're just points of information on your report.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions for this list for the engineer? Seeing and hearing none. Thanks, Mike, for coming out, and have yourself a nice holiday. I'll get to talk to you between now and then.
You too as well, and the rest of council. A great holiday if I don't speak to everybody.
Okay, thank you. You take care.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
Moving down the line here, we have the bill list. Does anybody have any questions about the bill list?
There were bills that were added this evening
Uh-huh.
and a bill that was removed from the prior bill list. So we're council to know about the changes.
I did receive a phone call from Mr. Cerny. Apparently it went straight to my voicemail. I did return his call. I got his voicemail, left a message, and that's where that is left off at. So we both left voicemails for each other. Judd, did you say you had a conversation with Fred?
Yes, I did. The December bill of 2019, and I don't have it in front of me, it's on my desk. But there's two bills that they totaled like $6,000. There was Nelson and I were talking about obviously negotiating this down. It came back to what council said no to it back in like say January, February when we got the bill. So then nothing happened in the meantime, and then we got the bill again last month, and I put it on the bill list because I'm obligated to do that, and it's up to council to make those decisions. I'm not going to withhold anything. So council said, okay, we're not going to do that, but perhaps we can negotiate a price or talk to Mr. Cerny. So that's what I did. Took it on my own to do that. And what we came up with is that he's willing to reduce the labor part of that bill, which was around, I want to say $2,300, and just charge us for the retainer for December and some additional items regarding Oprah and some other issues that I don't recall. So I went ahead and put that bill back on the bill list. And then I had a discussion with the mayor who said to take it off so he can discuss it or review it. Right?
I'll give Mr. Cerny one last opportunity. I mean, personally speaking, I think that we've been taken for a ride for far too long.
Okay.
And I'm going to reserve some of the other comments that I had earlier with you today, but quite honestly, I am very perturbed, very, very perturbed
Okay.
at how certain things have been handled that has led us right smack into litigation because of his handling of how he did things.
Okay.
And now he wants to be compensated even more.
Well-
It doesn't make, I'm not a happy person as a taxpayer. I am furious of the amount of money that we've paid that firm over the years for all of their mishandling of how things have been done in this town every year. It's an absolute disgrace. A complete, total abomination of how law should be practiced. And I don't care what anybody thinks about that, including the previous solicitor. Does anybody have any questions about the, bill list?
I do.
simply have one. There is, somebody brought it up to my attention, and I don't know if it has been
I'm never
misplaced.
gonna turn the time to talk, never gonna turn.
Wait a minute. I didn't even hear you, Mrs. Owen, until I started speaking. But
I actually said it before you started speaking.
Okay, we're once again with this technology of, time lapse, but go ahead, I'm gonna yield to you. Go
I
ahead.
appreciate that, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have a question on the, Grace Morano bill. Who was looking into that? For the COVID,
Are you talking about from last month and the month before?
yeah,
So,
Several months ago.
Beg your pardon?
That was actually from several months ago.
Well, the bill showed itself again in the bill list month before last, and we approved it and it's been paid, and it just appeared to me it's $1,600. I found it conspicuous thinking about it, kind of the day after that meeting, I guess it was the September meeting, and I asked the CFO to provide the detail on it. When he provided me the detail, I provided it to council just so that everyone would have the opportunity to review it at the same time. I can't say that I have any confidence in that that's a legitimate bill at all. I think it could be, I'm not saying it is, but it could be that it's just a way of reflavoring what they were looking for back in March and April that we denied, that the mayor reported he had spoken with them about, and they decided to withdraw the bill entirely because it really was just them redistributing kind of language from the state about mundane things that we should be kind of getting a heads up on anyway as a courtesy. All their clients should. But we approved it and it's been paid, and I don't think there's anything that can be done about it now. But I got a feeling we may have been snookered a little bit on that. We may have been snookered on that.
okay.
Well,
Thank you, Mr. Dilch.
I wanted to ask a question. Does anybody happen to know if we have our fogger in the building here? I know that that's not a bill list question, but I'm looking at cleaning, and I think somewhere along the line, there was a request that wanted to use it or something, and it wasn't around the building. So does anybody know from council if we in fact have our fogger in the building? Or has it been used elsewhere? I don't know. But I actually, I thought it was in the, where our mail was at. I've seen it in there several times, and when I picked up my mail last night, I did not see it in there. So does anybody have any knowledge of where the fogger may be? Does anybody have any knowledge, going once or twice? All right, so I'll just get ignored for the rest of the night, I guess. Thank you.
For God's sakes.
Does anybody have any further questions on the bill? If not, someone make a motion.
I would hope that the bill list pretty consistently would be motioned by some member of the finance committee.
I will make a motion to pay the bill list for $243,982.63.
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Yes, Mr. Nelson.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Delch. I gotta get the name here, all right. Mr. Owen.
Mrs. Owen.
Now, I am really,
Look at the glasses adjusted there, Judge.
yeah,
It's
it's
Mrs.
not
Owen.
even, it's not even 10 o'clock yet. Okay, we'll start
Yeah.
over. Mr. Dilch,
Yes.
Mr. Olson,
Yes.
Miss Owens,
Yes.
Miss Sparks,
Yes,
Mayor Vinesia.
Yes. Moving down the line here, we have, the minutes. Does anybody I actually, in fact, do have a couple things I picked up with our minutes. That being on page 3, I think that the minutes should reflect on 82-2020, that for the compensation of the acting clerk, it should be stated in there as to what was the amount that was paid for that day, rather than just simply stating that a compensation was approved. What was the amount?
What's that, for the election?
Yeah, I think that really should be reflective in there in the minutes. I see no reason why it shouldn't, because it's taxpayer funds. So Judd, do you want to just simply correct that for the minutes and put what the, what's
Yeah,
the amount,
well-
400?
But what I've seen from what was done prior with the minutes is that the title of the resolution goes in the minutes, but then in the minute book, the entire resolution has to be put in there. And that spelled it out, it was $400.
Okay, well,
But that was just the title for compensation, but yeah, I can change the title.
all right. Next, we have 84-2020, where it says Senate Budget Committee to recommend restoring pilot funding. I don't believe that that's reasonably correct at all. The Senate Budget Committee is not recommending to restore the pilot funding. It was actually the Pinelands Municipal Council that is recommending to the state to restore the pilot funding.
All right?
Secondly, within that within that 84-2020, a resolution was received by the Pinelands Municipal Council, not the Pinelands Commission. Okay,
All right, if you give me those changes, I will make the correction.
okay, I'm giving them now. If you want to simply make note. Okay, and then,
Well, let me make a copy of that after the meeting, if you don't mind, so I can be specific.
okay, and then it says here, the next paragraph down, department reports, October 2020, clerks, municipal tax collector, fire company. The only two reports that we had at the last meeting was actually one, and that was the public works report. We didn't have any of the other reports. Not even the zoning officer's report was submitted to us. So we did not vote on any of these other reports that are in here. It was just only the public works report. Am I correct, counsel? You
I
recall
believe
that?
you're correct, Mayor, you're correct. Public Works, the only one we had, and we voted to accept it.
Right, so all the other ones seem to be missing. And then, moving over to the fourth page, at the bottom, where it says, second to the last sentence, no decision was made by council to have a special meeting on November the 10th. I could have sworn that we picked November the 10th to have a special meeting that night. And one of the specific reasons, it says here to discuss recreation, clerk's job, public safety, DPW items, and it was also supposed to be to approve the department reports. Because we didn't have them there with us that night. Those are my necessary corrections. Does anybody have any other corrections? Now, council, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm asking these questions and I'm being ignored like you don't even hear me speaking. It's all look the other way. I mean, is this professional? Is this professional? I'm asking a question. Does anybody else have any other comments or additions that need to be placed on our minutes? Yes or no?
No, Mayor, I see no further correction to the minutes for the October meeting. Myself, just speaking for myself.
I see no other corrections that need to be made.
Somebody make a motion to accept the minutes as amended. I will make that necessary motion. Is there a second?
I'll second
All in favor?
it. Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Next, we have the public sale of land for block S8, lot 1. I believe that's from what we discussed at the last meeting, so this should actually be for the property that's out on Route 50. Mr. Lafferty, this here is for the second reading, correct?
Yes.
For the ordinance? Okay, so let me get to that. I know that I do have it. I guess we'll just have to be open to the public, correct, Mr. Lafferty?
Public hearing on this, yes.
All right, so I will make a motion to open the meeting to the public specifically and only for the purposes of this. Public sale of land for block S8, lot 1. I make the necessary motion, is there a second?
The ordinance is for,
This is for the public hearing, Mr. Lafferty.
and that would be the ordinance, and that's not, that is not the property you just referenced. It is for, block 1621, lots 279, 280, 281, 282, 283, and 284,
Mr. Lafferty, with all due respect, I'm looking at the agenda here. I don't know if you can see, but it says public sale land block S8 lot 1.
That's a resolution to accept the bid.
The ordinance relates to the other group of properties.
Let's hold off on that until we get to it within the agenda item here then. So what do we do with this block S8 lot 1? Mr. Lafferty?
You have a resolution 90-2020 to approve of sale on that bid, to accept that bid.
It's 89.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's 89.
Okay, so we have a gentleman by the name of Paul Castaldi, and he has offered $1,000. Just to get this thing moving, I'll make a motion to accept. Is there a second?
I'll second it, just to open discussion. Is this, Mr. Solicitor, is this the one you negotiated? This is not what you negotiated, right? This is a different matter.
This is different. I spoke to Mr. Gonzalez.
Right, I'm sorry, yes, of course you did. That was S8 lot 1, right?
Mr. Gonzalez was,
No, he bought a field of other lots, okay.
yes,
This is for the property that's out on Route 50, right
No.
there by the old infamous bend.
no. That
So
is,
how-
no, Mr. Gonzalez is buying properties that are located on 6th Street.
Randy, we're in resolution 89-2020.
Oh, I'm sorry, you jumped to the right. Did
No,
you
we
do?
didn't jump, we still stayed in 89-2020. That's where we are.
Did you have the public hearing on the second?
I'm looking at our agenda, which has been updated, so I'm just simply gonna follow how this has been put on here, and it says public sale of land, block S8, lot 1. That would have to be none other than resolution 89-20, which is the authorization to accept the $1,000 bid from Paul Castaldi.
That's correct.
Okay, so I made a necessary motion to accept the $1,000 bid. Is there a second?
I already seconded it so that we could get it open to
Okay.
discussion.
So, is there any discussionable item on this here to speak of?
Just for the benefit of council, the bid includes a stipulation of $500 for legal publication costs. So he had purchased other property at a much lesser amount, and he was told that his bid would have to include the $500 that the resolution provides for reimbursement to the city. So you're actually going to make money on this sale as opposed to losing money with, like was done with other sales.
Randy, once again, you're back onto the Gonzalez property.
No, I am on to the Castaldi Black Label Holdings property.
And what did he pay? He paid $1,000 for the other property did he purchase? It
I
was
thought-
Gonzalez that paid $75 for a whole bunch of other lots several years ago.
I thought that Mr. Castaldi Black Label paid less than $1,000 for the lot. The other
What
lot.
was that? What was that amount then?
I don't know.
I could swear that it was $1,000 is what we paid in the last.
I wasn't here then. I'm just talking anecdotally from conversation.
Here we go.
Bottom line is this, the city will make a profit on this sale, accept it, and you'll be reimbursed for all your costs.
So we have a deposit here, Mr. Moore just showed me. I have a check for $100 from Black Label Holdings LLC, and that would be for a deposit on block S8, lot 1.
Correct.
So the $1,000 is going to cover the legal costs as well for the deed preparation and the transfer?
Yes.
Well, let me ask a question. Mr. Lafferty,
Yes.
you asked me to put a resolution into the newspaper. It's part of the bill that we paid tonight. I don't recall recall, I just want to add the point of information, it was a lengthy resolution. I thought it pertained to this property, or am I getting it confused with the other property?
Correct, it did.
It did, okay. Well, that bill for that legal ad was $429, I believe.
Well, that's included, that's, the resolution provides for reimbursement to the city of $500.
Okay. I just wanted to be clear, because it may not include all your legal costs.
The legal costs are minimal. I mean, they're not that significant. I mean,
Okay.
the only thing left to do at this point would be to have a closing, which is really him paying the money and us giving him the quick claim deed.
Yeah, I just want to let you know, that's all.
Thank you.
Okay, so with that being said, there was a motion, then there was a second. I think we're gonna do a roll call on this here, because it's, discussing, the acceptance of money. Calling for a roll call, please, Judge.
Yeah, Mr. Dilch?
Will the clerk please repeat the question?
The question, the motion is to approve the sale of that land block S.8 in Lot 1.
In which you seconded.
Yes.
Okay, so your vote is a yes, Mr. Dilch?
Yes, it is, Mr. Moore.
Okay. Just want to be clear. Mr. Olson,
Yes.
Miss Owens,
Yes.
Miss Sparks,
Yes.
Mayor Benesia.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we have some correspondence here.
You want me to go down there?
I can go down it real quickly if I can. We have the Borough of Longport with a resolution they have, which I think is a good one. We don't need to do this for a resolution for ourselves, correct, Judge?
Correct.
All right, so
I mean, it's your option, but
we could put it on our agenda for the next meeting. It doesn't matter to me, but I mean, we don't really have that issue because we have state police coverage here. We have the JIF budget hearing notice, the vote to take place. Anything that we need to discuss about that, Mr. Moore?
no, it's just, they send it out every year, just to let you know that, what the budget's gonna be and give everyone an opportunity to take a look.
Okay. Next, we have the item here from the JIF. We have the public hearing, we just discussed that. We have the co-pay and the co-insurance, the $50,000 deductible. So you want to explain that one there, just briefly?
Yes, what that is saying is that, our employment practice liability assessment, is gonna be $5,865 for 2021. And they want us to know, which we already did, is that any legal, loss to the city, we're gonna have to pay a $50,000 deductible. And that is co-insurance, how they came up with it is co-insurance of 20% of $250,000. And they also gave a summary as to prior lawsuits for the city, and that's what's driving the $50,000 deductible. I think the normal deductible, I wanna say, is around 10,000, but don't hold me to that.
The expiring deductible is $5,000.
Is it 5,000? Okay.
Yeah.
It's really just a point of information.
So in layman's terms, the $5,865 is the premium, and the $50,000 is the deductible.
Correct.
Thank you.
We also have PS&S Engineers of Cherry Hill, that's been taken care of.
They got number 4.
Number 4, New Jersey motor vehicle. The
What-
registered vehicles, go over that one there, Judge.
Yeah, what this is actually they sent 3 letters, so could have put it all in one, but it was about registration for vehicles that I recall there was some type of issue with the registrations, this summer perhaps. So an application was made and some documentation was sent to motor vehicle office, and they, rejected it at this time, and they're asking for some more information. I haven't had time to really look at it, but It doesn't seem to be too earth-shattering of what it was that they were asking for. But then there has to be another application because it had the prior clerk's signature and all on it. So if we redo it, it has to be changed. And I just wanted council to be aware of that.
Very good, thank you. And just for clarification purposes here, we have the Atlantic County clerk letter. This is actually the clerk of the Freehold Board, not the Atlantic County clerk. Which we have that information here from the letter dated November the 19th. Just basically for some work that they're gonna be doing, all $11,615,000 of various different jobs that they're gonna be doing out throughout the county. Okay. We are aware of the letter that we received from the $230,000 grant for the restructuring of Maple Avenue. Hopefully, we will be applying for the discretionary aid soon enough. When Mr. Fairholmes receives it, it's the time to apply for it. We also have a letter from Public Safety. We have the letter from the Atlantic County Department of Law for the transfer of Lot 13, Block 801 from Atlantic County to Township of Hamilton. We had that actually discussed a couple meetings back. And moving down, we have a letter from the Atlantic City Electric for the filing notice. We all had a chance to read that correspondence. We have the ACUA for number 11 about the solid waste for the year 2021. That would be for 86,816. Randy, I would like for you to give some light to shed on that one there, just so that we are all clearly understanding. This is for an annual contract that we have entered into with the ACUA, correct?
It is.
All right. So anything that you should talk about other than we did do the resolution for the $86,816?
No, there's nothing down.
Nothing to add. Okay. We have a letter from the NJDCA awarding $5,695.14 for the COVID-19 expenses. We have the letter of Township of Long Hill for the Affordable Housing Act. That doesn't really apply to us. We have the ACUA annual report card, which is basic. And then we have the letter from the ACUA for the public hearing on the rate charges for December the 17th, 2020. Anything on that one there, Randy, that should be shed on or no?
No, nothing to add, Mayor.
Okay.
You had the 12 and 13. Did you go over that or did I miss that?
We already discussed that
Oh,
one.
yeah,
there
12
about
you
the
already
hiring.
discussed, and then the JIF for elected officials for the training.
Yeah.
Okay.
Going over to that, for the JIF, every year, for as long as I could ever remember, we always had an opportunity 2 times a year, actually 3 or 4 times a year, to attend the one meeting that they would have for the JIF. Obviously, they're not doing that now, so what are we doing at this point for getting that deductible applied to us?
I am going to get instructions to council, but it's like a webinar that you have to take.
So the JIF is not gonna be doing any type of a Zoom meeting where they can make a presentation and all the municipalities could Zoom into that?
I do not believe that that's gonna be the case.
So we're all on our own this year
You're all
too?
gonna be on your own, the way I understand it's gonna go. I think a Zoom meeting would be, really tough to deal with you have like a couple hundred elected officials trying to get on there. But the way I read it, it was something that you're gonna just call in, it's a webinar, you go online, and probably have to verify that you listen to what they're gonna say. I thought it was gonna be like 15 minutes or something, it's gonna be modified.
Okay.
That's the right one.
All right, so we have all of the correspondence that we've covered. We have ordinances, the second reading and the public hearing for ordinance 03-2020, authorizing the sale of block 60 -21, lots 279, 280, 281, 282, 283, and 284 on the tax map of the city of Estell Manor, granting to the owner of this property of said real property contiguous to same the right of prior refusal to purchase such lands in the city of Estell Manor, County of Atlantic and State of New Jersey, and repealing all ordinances herefore adopted, the provisions which are inconsistent with herewith. So, this is for the second reading. Mr. Lafayette, I'm going to assume now is the time that we will make a motion to open a meeting to the public pertaining to this particular item only, correct?
You are correct, Mayor.
I make the necessary motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Anybody from the public who has any comments to state